So guys, I have this post here that GG just made talking about chase uniques in 0.2.1, the next patch for Path of Exile 2. So let's say what they are saying in here, because this is exciting. This patch is going to be really cool in my opinion, or at least I hope so. So let's read it. In recent patches, we have had the goal to make the experience of item drops a lot more satisfying, but an area that we didn't address yet is finding chase uniques. True. It's time to change that in 0.2.1. We are significantly changing the way uniques drop and adding some great new chase uniques as well. Awesome! Let's see it. Let's see it. Unique item drop changes. This is important. This is really important, guys. When we design uniques, we classify them into a few different rarities depending on how powerful we think they are. These are called common, uncommon, rare, and mythic. We're playing Diablo 4 in this bitch. Yeah. Call them Uber. Uber is your word. In fact, Uber is so much your word that in Diablo 4 they were called Uber uniques and they changed it to mythic to not have Uber in there because Uber was your word. And now you are using the mythic too. By the way, I don't have a problem because I think that mythic is an awesome word. I think that mythic unique sounds cool, but at the same time, dude. But okay, let's continue. Let's continue, dude. Let's continue. Okay, they have the common, uncommon, rare, and mythic. Can we know? Can they give us a way of knowing if an item, if a unique item is common, uncommon, rare, or mythic, or this is just behind the scenes? I would like to know. I would like to know. But let's continue. Mythic uniques are things like Headhunter, Mjolnir, and Astramentis. Okay. Mythic uniques are intended to be chased, but they were way too rare. I agree with that. Astramentis, you heard it the other day. It was 45,000 for one Divine Orb. It was insane. Dude, over 60% of you are not subscribed. Why? Why are you like this? Just click the sub button, my dude. It is quick, it is easy, it is free. You get content, I get a sub, win-win situation. Just click the sub button, my dude. The first problem is that we balance the relative number of rare and mythic uniques the same as it was in PoE 1. But in PoE 1, you get way more uniques. The second problem is that in PoE 2, when you roll for uniques, the game first rolls what item class the unique will come from. This means that things like amulets and rings were significantly less common than other types of uniques. A mythic amulet like Astramentis was about 47,000 times rarer than a Divine Orb. That is insane, dude. That is insane. That means if you found an Astramentis as a wardrobe, not as a chancing orb, but as a wardrobe, you are a lucky mofo. You are a lucky mofo, dude. When things are that rare, they effectively don't exist for most players. Who has said this several times, guys? I am thinking about someone that is sitting in this very chair that has said these exact same words several times. So remember, there are things that I'm right about and things that I'm not right about yet, but I will be right about. Like this shit. I told you this shit a bunch of times. There are some cool items to find, but you are not going to find them. True, true. The first change we made to bring this in line was to remove the item class from the equation. Astramentis is now the same rarity as a weapon like Mjolnir. The second change was to make it so common uniques get less common as more rarity is added to maps, meaning that there is more chance for uncommon, rare, and mythic uniques. That is cool. That is cool because if you get the proportion by removing the bottom thing, you get more chances to get the upward thing. Math stuff, awesome. Love it. And the last change was to just massively buff the number of mythic uniques that drop. Thank you very much. These changes together should significantly improve the feeling that a good unique could be around any corner. We have also improved the power of a few uniques that were classified as mythic, but were not really holding up to a mythic standard, like 98% of them. You will have to wait for the patch to find out what those are, but in the meantime, here are a couple of examples of new mythic uniques that we are adding in 0.2.1. Awesome! New uniques. Let's see, dude. Let's see. Unique item previews. The first item is a unique bow. Fog bows that might be familiar to seasoned players. Lioneye's Glare. Instead of our designers telling you about this item, Lioneye himself will be recounting the battle of his legion versus the fearsome Karui led by Kaom. Check it out below. Let's check it out.
Kaom the usurper assembles his marauders at the foot of my watchtower. The foul kinslayer intends to slay us in our sleep. From the parapet, I ignite our beacons. I then dispatch Kaom's generals with ease, 2 at a time. My bowstring singing against the tidal breeze.
Is this a real comic book that you can find and read? Why didn't I know that Path of Exile had a comic book? This looks awesome, dude. Or this was just like created for this video.
My legion begins dropping boiling tar on the Karui animals below, while others release fiery arrows upon them. The flesh from their backs roast and fill the air with a sickening odor. It is the smell of victory. The dogs all begin to turn tail and flee, and so I give the order. Old arrows, men! Let's drive these savages into the sea! As we descend onto the beach, the Karui make their stand. With bow in hand, I make deft work of avoiding their blows, and then return fire. In the distance, I see the disdain in Kaom's eyes. And I know he sees my glare.
Okay, here is
This
the bow,
unique bow will
finally.
be added in 021, alongside many other unique items. When wielded, you gain some of the power of the masterful archer, General Marcius Lioneye himself. As long as you're not too close to your enemies, all barrageable attacks with this bow will be repeated. To help you keep your distance, the bow also increases how far you can dodge roll. However, as Lioneye eventually learned the hard way, you must be careful not to commit too deep into combat, as subsequent rolls will be shorter. This is a powerful weapon, and with enough savvy, you may just live longer than the Eternal General.
Dude, I have to say that I like that chat. You know, I like it. Read this chat, dude. Read this chat. +2 meters to dodge roll distance if you haven't dodged recently. -1 meter to dodge roll distance if you dodge roll recently. Not a big deal about that. The cool part is this. Variable attacks with this bow repeat +1 time if no enemies are in your presence. First of all, really powerful. Right out of the gate. The effect is really powerful. Double attack, double damage. Right there. Simple as that. Really powerful effect. But then you add another layer of build making that is cool. This is the very first time that I see an effect that is incentivizing you to reduce your presence. Now you want your presence to be as small as possible so that you always repeat your attacks. To not fall into the enemies are in your presence. Now you are going to take effects that reduce your presence on purpose. That is fucking awesome. Am I right, guys? I love this way of doing things, by the way. The next item we'd like to showcase is the Last Lament, a unique crossbow that doesn't just pack a punch, but is also packed with lore. Check out the following video where Mark, one of the game directors, will give you a rundown on its origins, its tragic tale, and how it correlates to the modifiers it grants. Let's check it out. It looks awesome in the video, by the way, in the
Hi,
model.
I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile 2. Today, we've got a unique item showcase for the Last Lament, a brand new crossbow being added in 021.
The name is badass, by the way. The Last Lament. That is a badass name.
This crossbow originates from the height of the Eternal Empire, during the reign of Emperor Chitus. Kalisa Mars, known for her amazing singing abilities, due to the virtue gem in...
Dude. Like, I know there is not much of it on Path of Exile 2, but when I played in Path of Exile 1 and I went to the places for the Eternal Empire, I think they are like my coolest... The civilization that I like the most. Path of Exile is probably the Eternals and the Templar stuff, because they are like Greek and Roman stuff. The Eternal stuff that is like Roman is fucking awesome. And for the Templars, the Greek stuff. Look at this crossbow, dude. Tell me this doesn't look crazy as fuck, dude.
Embedded in her throat, was slain by her very own composer, Adamantia. During this murder, Khaleesi unleashed such powerful screams that their sheer force killed both of them, eternally trapping their souls in the crossbow. The last Lament has interesting modifiers to reflect this tragic tale. The first, a chance to reload bolts on kill, represents the crossbow's ability to capture the souls of slain enemies and use them as ammunition. Secondly, the crossbow has infinite ammo, as long as your soul is resilient enough by feeding life into the crossbow. But be careful not to feed it all, as you too might get trapped in it forever. Thirdly, and what makes this crossbow truly shine, is its granted skill, Compose Requiem. Harness the power of the entwined souls within to unleash the fury of Khaleesi and Adamantia themselves by weaponizing their torment and laying waste to all enemies in sight. You'll notice as using the skill you get to hear the composition of Adamantia and the voice of Khaleesi herself echoing for every bolt you fire.
Brother, I hope this shit is good because it looks awesome, bro. I already played two crossbow characters this league, but this shit looks awesome. I would play another crossbow because this looks insane. I hope it is good, dude.
You'll be able to find the Last Lament as an in-game unique item in the 021 patch, alongside many other new and rebalanced unique items. Thanks.
That is insane, dude. Let's read
Khaleesi
the...
herself.
Let me actually read the item. Increase physical damage, increase attack speed, leeches physical damage as life. 19% chance to load a bolt into all crossbow skills on kill. Sacrifice 300 life instead of consuming the last bolt when fighting. So you are never out of bolts. That is awesome. So you don't have to reload. And also you don't have to take passive skills that revolve around reloading or support gems that revolve around reloading, as long as you have the sustain in life or in regeneration to sustain this. You don't have to worry about reloading. This is awesome, dude. This is awesome. And the ability, your weapon passively accumulates anguish from the tormented souls within. When fully charged, use this skill to compose the Requiem, transforming your crossbow shot into a torrent of anguish for a short fixed amount of time. Does not use ammunition. Convert 60% of physical damage to cold damage. Impact radius is 1.6 meters. Anguish impacts within a 2.4 meter radius of the target. Dude, this looks fucking awesome, dude. This looks awesome. I hope it is good because thematically, I love it. I love it. I hope it is good, dude. For all those spellcasters out there, here's another familiar unique stuff. The Whispering Eyes. Right now, people are not using stabs, by the way. People prefer using a wand plus a chill, a wand plus a focus, a wand plus a sector. Stabs, I have to think, is the least used weapon in the game. Let's see what is happening in here. It grants the skill level 19, Heart of Ice. Grants the skill level 19, Ice Storm. Plus 4 to level of all cold spell skills. Reduce cast speed. Of course, they have to reduce something. 11% increase intelligence. That is good. 4% increase spell damage per 10 intelligence. That is really good. Inflict cold exposure on hit, lowering total cold resistance by 28%. Depending on how good the Heart of Ice and Ice Storm are, this seems like a cool item. Here's a high resolution render of it. Let's look at it. Hey, it looks cool. It looks cool. Like something that came from under the sea. Oh, here are the abilities. The Whispering Eyes provides both the Heart of Ice aura as well as the Ice Storm spell. Heart of Ice chills enemies in your presence as though dealing cold damage. Dude, that is awesome. More magnitude of chill inflicted. and then the Ice Storm. On your, it has two steps, the Storm and the Improved Bolt. So the Storm, conjure a hail of icy balls over the target area. Chill and freeze on enemies in front of you are consumed to fuel the Ice Storm by creating Improved Bolts. And the Improved Bolts did a bunch of damage. Okay, okay. Lastly, we'd like to preview one of the new endgame unique quivers you can find. Kadiros Gambit. This one will depend on the luck of your draw. So it is not for me. If it depends on luck, it is definitely not for me. Kadiros Gambit, 9% increase attack speed. Each arrow fired as a crescendo splinter reversing diamond coverus or blunt arrow. What the fuck? Crescendo arrows. Crescendo arrows chain 6 additional times and deal 60% increased damage for each time they have changed. Splinter arrows. Splinter arrows split towards 6 targets. Reversing arrows pierce all targets and return to you. All hits with diamond arrows are critical hits with 60% increased critical damage bonus. Enemies killed with covetous arrows drop items with 600% increased rarity. Blunt arrows got 600% increased stun build. This is like too rare, too lock based to be effective, right? Nobody's going to use this shit unless you can affect the lock somehow to make it amplify the effect that you want. I don't know. It looks too RNG, dude. We hope you enjoy this state of what is to come in 0.2.y, which we're currently expecting to deploy tomorrow. Tomorrow. Nice. Finally. If you are watching this on YouTube, it is today. It is today. This shit is dropping today. Hey, I like what I'm seeing. Yes, this is good. This is cool. Let's see how it performs in game. And let's actually hope this shit drops today. But yes, dude, this is cool. This is cool. What do you guys think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I a clown? Am I a genius? Let me know everything in the comments below. I love reading comments even when they don't agree with me. Also, remember to like the video, to subscribe to the channel, all that cool stuff. Guys, thanks for being here. You guys are awesome. God bless ya. And remember, don't be afraid ever, because this is just a ride.